Welcome to Sports Talk with the Cowboy.
Welcome and thanks for riding with the Cowboy. Well, tonight is the Sports Talk with the Cowboy 2024 NFL Draft Special. We're going to go over the NFL Draft, which starts tomorrow night in Detroit, Michigan. Runs Friday and Saturday. Round 1 tomorrow night, round 2 and 3 Friday night, round 4, 5, 6, and 7 on Saturday. Our Tampa Bay Buccaneers pick in the first round, pick number 26. So we've got a long way to wait when the draft starts at 8 o'clock Eastern Time tomorrow evening on ABC and ESPN. Of course, number 1 pick goes to Chicago Bears. Chicago will probably go with Caleb Williams, the quarterback from USC. And then it'll be on the Washington Commanders will be on the clock next. And our selection with that will probably be Jalen Daniels from LSU for the Washington Commanders. And then the pick 3 would be the New England Patriots. And our pick for that will be Drake May from the University of North Carolina. Now, that's just our personal preference. We don't know exactly how that's going to go. We'll know at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. As far as the Buccaneers are concerned, Jason Light, the general managers in the war room of the Bucs, they'd like to get offensive guard, and they'd like to get a center and a defensive ends. They need a linebacker, running back, and receiver. That's where they're looking at, and a cornerback, depending on who's there. Will they get their center from Duke? Will they get the center Jackson Powell from Oregon? Will they get Jared Verse from Florida State, the defensive end? We won't know because we won't know who gets picked before we get to pick. Will Jason Light stay at number 26, or will he move up in the draft to get one of these players we just mentioned? We don't know. We'll have to watch and see what goes on tomorrow night. Very important because you're filling out your roster with the prospects that will play for you next year. You've got your free agents that you were players from other teams already on your team, but there's still holes in your team. You got to go to the draft to address those holes. So your picks with multi-million-dollar contracts are very, very, very big gambles. You've got a lot of time invested on these players. You brought them into your facility and spoke with a lot of them, of the ones you think you might have the opportunity to pick. And it's only not the first pick, but you've got round 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 to pick. So you've got to have contingencies of players you wanted that might not be there, and players that accidentally might fall to you because they weren't picked by another team. You might have a multitude of players that you've selected to pick at that number, and they're both still on the board. Then what do you do? So it's going to be a big night of football starting tomorrow night. NFL Draft from Detroit, Michigan, live, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Everybody in the world will be watching it. If you're not, you'll be probably the only one not watching. And what time will the Bucs pick be at number 26? We do not know, but it's 10 minutes between picks. As soon as the Bears become on the clock, they've got 9 minutes and 59 seconds on down to 0 to turn their card in to the Commissioner of Football, Roger Goodell, who will walk up to the podium and announce that pick. And once he does, the clock starts on the next pick. So we'll all be tuned in to watch. We think 4 or 5 quarterbacks will go in the first 15 picks. We know there'll be about 5 or 6 wide receivers. And we know that there will be quite a lot of defensive players and offensive linemen picked also. And we know a lot of teams are looking for the same thing we are, that will pick in front of us. So we'll just have to see how it goes. Whether Jason Light moves up, which he has the opportunity to do, or stay where he's at, or even move down. We don't know. The one plus for the first round selection is your contract's 5 years instead of 4. Second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh round picks, 4-year contract. First round pick, 5-year contract. So it does give you an extra year with that player if he's the player you want at a rookie salary. It's very important to remember that in the cap NFL, where you have a certain amount of money you can spend on players. So this is one of the biggest opportunities to increase your team you have, your asset. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers is this draft. It's that important for everyone concerned. We'll all be watching. We here at Sports Talk with the Cowboy will watch, and we've mentioned some of the players we think they might go after, but it all depends on who's there when it gets to be their pick and where that pick actually winds up being. Because we don't know that until they get started tomorrow night, and it'll be televised and sure be watched the next 3 days as the biggest sporting event in America. No question whatsoever about that. Now we're going to go to our questions tonight in this draft special, and the first question is from Bill, and Bill wanted to know who I thought would be the Bucks' first pick. Bill, I think it's going to be Barton from Duke, the center, or Jackson Powell from Oregon, the center, or Jared Verse, the defensive end from Florida State. Bill, that's who I think it'll be. They would like it to be, but again, Bill, we don't know. The next question is from Pam, and Pam wanted to know what I thought about the rough start of the Rays this year in baseball. And Pam, I think a lot of that's to do with their pitching situation. They've got a terrible pitching situation. You know, 3 of their starting pitchers are out with ACL injuries, out for the year. So they came in shorthanded as starting pitchers this year. Went out and made a trade with Trader Grasco out to the Dodgers and picked up a pitcher. But they're just not getting the pitching's not getting it done. The hitting's not getting it done. And they're having a rough time of it. So it's really the injuries from last year that's lingered into this year really have diminished what I think is a chance to run for a pennant. But we'll see. We got a long way to go in baseball. A lot of things can change. We can also trade before the trade deadline, pick up some players if that's what we need to do. We'll keep you posted on that. And Thomas wanted to know what I thought about Michael McDowell's wreck at Talladega today. Thomas, he led to the last lap. He went up to try to block Brad Keselowski, came back down, got caught up in Brad, and wrecked and wound up 27th. It was a terrible thing for me to watch because I wanted Michael McDowell to get his 3rd win, and he came about a half a lap from getting it. But this is what happens in racing. That's why you got to race to the last lap and the last second and play football to the last tick. So thanks for the question, Thomas, and God bless your questions. DJX, what you got for me tonight?
Well, Cowboy, you know what it is. Let's get right off into it, buddy. All right, Steelers getting ready for wide receiver trade. Who would be a good wide receiver for the Steelers?
Romo Aduzo from Washington would be a good one if he's there. If they could trade up to get him. He might not be there when they get there, but there's about 3 or 4 good ones. But he's one. Marvin Harrison, if they could go up that high and get him from Arizona. But I don't know if Arizona's going to give him Marvin Harrison Jr., but that's another one. There's 2 of them.
Sound good. All right. Bengals defensive end Hendrickson's request to trade.
Hendrickson was their star defensive end. He is a magnificent football player, and he really led them to the Super Bowl defensively the year they went to the Super Bowl. He suffered injury last year. They're not renegotiating his contract right now, and it's hurt his feelings. And they think they might be looking for a replacement for him in this draft. And, you know, that kind of hurts your heart when they go get a youngster to take your position in tomorrow night's draft. So he's asking for a trade. But and it's good that he's asking for it now because they figure during the draft, if they're going to make a trade, they're going to make a trade then.
Right.
See, because everybody's together. And I want their pick. So I say, hey, I'll give you Hendrickson. You give me your pick. And this is, you know, don't wait till after the draft. He ain't going to do you no good.
He don't feel valued there.
He feels like the team's looking for another guy.
Right. Okay. Gotcha. All right. Deebo Samuel assured by his bosses that he won't be dealt during the draft.
Deebo was worried about being dealt. I don't know why, because Deebo Samuel is one of the greatest players that's going playing out there. And then there's a bunch of teams that would love to have him, but I don't think the 49ers are stupid enough, and they're not stupid enough to ever trade him. And I don't know what you'd have to give the San Francisco 49ers for Deebo Samuel, but it wouldn't be something that we've ever seen before.
Don't seem like he got too much to worry about.
I wouldn't lose 1 second of sleep if I was Deebo.
Right.
He's going to be wearing 49er uniform for a long time.
Who are fans hoping for a pick number 20 in the 2024 NFL draft? That's for the Steelers.
For the Steelers, well, I would suspect they're probably hoping for a wide receiver, like you said, or a tight end. Somebody could give them some offense. They've got a running back. They've got the quarterbacks, but they've got to get they've got the running back, but they need a tight end or they need a receiver to throw to or move that offense. The defense is good with Mike Tomlin. Good, strong defense. Trouble with Kenny Pickett. He's gone. Now you've got Russell Wilson and Justin Fields from Chicago. They're good. 2 quarterbacks that can play. Now you got a running back from Alabama 2 years ago, number 1 pick, good running back.
Yeah.
But you don't have no receivers, nobody to throw that ball to. Wide receiver, tight end. That's who
All
they're
right.
going for. And like you said, at 20, they might want the guy at 10, so they'd have to move up.
Bears unveil $4 billion stadium plan.
They're going to move from Soldier Field, what we always knew they played in, and build a new Soldier Field near the lake up in Chicago. They unveiled that plan. It's a $4 billion stadium, and they let the NFL know they're going to build that stadium, so the Chicago Bears are going to get a new stadium.
All right. Well, that's what I got for you tonight, Cowboy.
God bless you, DJX.
God bless you, too.
God bless each and every one for watching our show. And before I leave tonight, I want everybody in America to pray for Israel and pray for the unrest we have on these campuses against the Jewish faith and the Israeli, the anti-Semitism. It's really truly a disgrace to have people in our country that will walk down the street and say they're terrorists from a terrorist organization in a city who lost the Twin Towers to terrorists. It's a sad state of affairs in this country. There is free speech in our nation, God bless it, but there is also hate speech. And there also is laws against hate speech. And people who call themselves terrorists and dress as terrorists, they're terrorizing the citizens of these cities. And I pray for that the Israeli students, the Jewish students continue to quit getting harassed by these terrorists. They're domestic terrorists. I call on Americans throughout this country to go to Amazon, like these college presidents should do, and go to Amazon and order a spine. That's right, go to Amazon and order a spine in your back so that you can stop these domestic terrorists from taking over college campuses throughout the country. Throw them out, arrest them, kick them out. Go to the faculty, find out who they are, fire them, and ship them out. They are terrorists, and they have no business in our country. We're better than that. Again, it's hate is what it is. It's hate speech. It's anti-Semitism. It's a disgrace to this nation. And here at Sports Talk with Cowboy, we support Israel 100%. It's God's country. It's God's people, and we support Israel here at this show and always will. So God bless you. Let's stop this hate and put love ahead of hate. And until next show, God bless you, Cowboy out.
Have you ever had a dream that you want him to do you so much you could do anything?